What's up, savvy expats? So whether you're planning on building a provincial home or you're a Filipino coming back home to the province, you may want to know about owning your future home in the Philippines. That is why in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a reference point based off of my family's provincial home in the province. We'll be taking a tour of the house, we'll discuss how much it costs to build the place, and also some history about the home. As always, if you want to show your gratitude to the channel, all details will be linked down below.
Gratitude.
Alright, without wasting time, let's get into it. So first off, a little bit of the details about the home. The home has 3 floors, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and 3 balconies. Our house is located in Quezon Province, more specifically Pagbilao in the town of Lucena. Pagbilao is roughly 3 hours away from Metro Manila. I say this because a lot of you may opt for the lifestyle that my family chose to live when moving to the Philippines. Just like us, you may want to live in the metropolitan cities of Manila while having a getaway home in the province. In the Philippines, this is like the equivalent to a summer or country home in the US. And so we live in BGC full time because we enjoy the westernized lifestyle and conveniences it has to offer, and then we go back to the province every now and then to get away. I'd say the majority of the year the house is empty, but someone will come in and check up on it and clean the place. So perhaps in your case, if you want to live in Manila for a specific reason like the hospitals, while being able to live the Philippine provincial life whenever you please, you may do the same. The beauty of the Philippines is that you can live both of these lifestyles. But getting back to the house, I want to clear a few things up. So this provincial home and the plot of land was not recently purchased as some may think. This house has actually been owned by our family since my great-grandfather, and it's been passed down ever since. So it dates back to the early 1900s where there was barely any infrastructure in the town, and my great-grandparents were one of the few people living there. And so, cool story, my grandfather, before he moved to the US, he grew up in this house during World War II. This was during the 1940s when the Japanese invaded and attacked the Philippines. So at the time, the Japanese soldiers went into this village in Pagbilao, raping and killing the women and children. What gives this house a slice of history was that the Japanese soldiers lived in this home because my great-grandfather was a judge. So those Japanese soldiers lived with my grandfather's family at the time. That explains why the place is so haunted. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, as you can tell, this is not the original structure since World War II. The house that you see today was rebuilt in 2007, and we decided to add a second and third floor to take advantage of the view. This story probably goes for many of you Filipinos who lived and grew up in a foreign country. Though my great-grandfather had a high-ranking job, when my grandparents moved to the US in an all-Italian neighborhood in Cicero, Chicago, they were dirt poor. They worked hard, built a life, and eventually when they got older, moved back to the Philippines and built this house. So just goes to show that America was truly the land of opportunity. Anyways, let's talk about what you really want to know. How much did it cost to build this house? Well, the house cost around $50,000 to be built, which is good because labor in the Philippines is so cheap. So for those of you who can own land in the Philippines, if you're coming to this country unsure if you can build a home, understand that building a house in the Philippines is much cheaper. For us, because we already had the plot of land and we know a lot of people in the town, I think that also contributed to the low building cost. And your house, of course, doesn't have to be all big and extravagant. You can definitely build a simple, modest provincial home for $30,000 in the Philippines. Now, if you're saying, well, Evan, I don't have $30,000 to bring to the Philippines. Well, no worries. I want you guys to take a look at Meljean Salon's house. She's a Filipina YouTuber I came across documenting her house building journey in the province. Now you take a look at this house, and as you can see, it's very small, simple, and modest. I want you to guess how much she built this place for. $20,000? No. $10,000? No. She built this place for $6,000.
You gotta be kidding me.
And that's my point. If you have anything more than that, in this case $6,000, you can definitely build a home in the Philippines. Nothing fancy or extravagant about the house, but if you're a simple person, something like this or slightly bigger will do. It really depends on your budget. If you have $40,000 or even $20,000, you can build a much bigger place than this. But also, look at this house from the Philippine Dream channel. This place only cost $23,000 to build. So you can only imagine, if you come to the Philippines with $60,000, you can build a fantastic provincial home to say the least. But anyways, I already told you the price to build this house, $50,000. Now let's give you a tour of the home. So here we have the outside of the house. In my opinion, the house was well built in both the interior and exterior. The design and infrastructure is not too flashy and contemporary, so it still preserves that Philippine provincial house look. Anyways, here we have the front gate leading into the driveway. From the front of the house, this is a look at the exterior. I especially like that 2 extra floors was added because my grandparents are the type of people to always want to host friends and family. So there's a lot of room to accommodate their friends and our relatives that also live in this town. One of them, my aunt, happens to be the mayor of this town, which is pretty cool. Now from the outside, we have some gardening that wraps around the whole premises. All types of tropical bushes and shrubs that's kept by one of the housekeepers that is also watching over this place when we're gone. Here we have a beautiful palm tree, and at the back of the house we have some calamansi shrubs planted. Calamansi is a popular citrus fruit, and so as my grandfather loves to cook, he can just go back here and liven up some of his spectacular dishes like bissteak for us. And from here you can get an idea of the front, where there's also a little patio area. Overall, a nice exterior to the house. Very well done. Moving on, we could enter through the front door, as you can see here. If we have guests, we'll most likely unlock this door to let people in, but more often than not, we enter through the back door. A nice part about this is that our neighbor grows all sorts of fruits like coconuts, but on this particular day, we have some goyabano growing, also called soursop. Now, I don't want to rat myself out, but sometimes we like snagging a little something for ourselves. Our neighbor has an abundance of fruits, and everyone knows each other in this small town, especially my grandfather. Only problem is dealing with the red ants when grabbing some fruit. Anyways, most traditionally, let's just enter through the front door. This is what you open up to on the first floor. As you can see, here we have the living room. Just a simple Philippine design with the mahogany wood furniture for seating, a little table there, and then from this side we have all of the photos to reminisce on. But if you continue walking down the house, here we have the kitchen and dining room area. This is where my grandpa cooks and we all eat, and from there you can see the back door that we usually enter through. Switching opposite angles, from the kitchen, here we have the rest of the first floor. There's these stairs leading up to the second floor. On the right is the first bathroom, and on the left is the front door. Now my grandparents, just so that they don't have to go up and down the stairs, have their room on the first floor. As you can see, just a simple room and an AC, which you definitely need in the province. And then they also have their own ensuite bathroom, which is great. Oh, and by the way, you remember how I said that this place is haunted by Japanese soldiers? It might actually be. And then we'll go up the first flight of stairs. Oh, there's a freaking ghost in here. We gotta get out. There's a ghost in here. And so now let's head up to the second floor. There's also some large windows throughout, which I really like. So here on the second floor, it's a decent size. There's 2 rooms, a bathroom, a living room, and a balcony. So here we have mine and my siblings' room. This is where we sleep, and we close the door and turn the AC on full blast to conceal that cool air. Either that or we get halo halo across the street from Joanna, one of our neighbors. And here we have my parents' bedroom. As you can see, it's a decent size and it has a balcony. Now moving on, here we have the bathroom. It has all you could ask for, and all we do is turn on the water pump and everything works. And just nearby that, here is the living room area with all of the furniture, and then across from that, you also have the balcony.
And by the way, this is the second balcony. It's nice. There's one over there too. Very nice. Yeah. Pretty decent view from here. But the third one is even more nice.
So now, let's move up to the third floor and show you what we're working with here. There's actually a lot of stairs in this house, so my grandfather does his rounds to get a workout in. So here we have the third floor, which has the best views because windows encompass the whole space. I could just sit up here, enjoy the view, and sit down and relax while taking a look at some of the old pictures in the photo album. And then inevitably, 5 minutes later, go back down into my room because it's way too hot up there. It really makes for a great place to relax and hang out and enjoy the scenery. Not to mention, what makes this view beautiful is not only that it's high up, but also because there's a wraparound balcony to look around the whole town. Now, this is the fourth and final room. This is where Kuya Terry used to sleep. He used to drive for our family for the longest time, but unfortunately he died recently due to a heart attack. And then you also have the fourth and last bathroom up here as well. Now out we go to the wraparound balcony, and as you can see, it's a good size. You get full panoramic views of the whole town, and you can just see all of the houses in the small town here. This is definitely the best place to soak up the scenery in the house. Now we cross through this area and it wraps around to the front side of the house where you can see the houses below and the mountains in the distance. You can also look down and check out the gardening and the second floor balcony. So there were some nice memories made in this small town. Just a couple houses down, we would walk down the town and fetch us some pancit noodles from the local pancit house, made for a really good snack. And so quick recap, that house costed us $40,000 to $50,000 to build, but you can build whatever size house you please according to your specific budget. But keep in mind, we already own that plot of land and my grandparents, they also know some good construction companies there. So for you guys, it might be a little bit more pricier if you don't have a plot of land already there that you own. And our utility costs like water and electricity is extremely low because we don't live there full time. And in the time that we are there, housing costs would be no more than $100 for a few weeks. The majority of our costs would likely be attributed to air conditioning if anything. So once again, you can use this video as a reference point as to what's possible when building your home in the Philippines. Cost of utilities always vary depending on your personal usage. And if you want to get the best of both worlds, both the metropolis and provincial life, I recommend having a home in the province. Or even just a rental. By all means, you don't have to build a home in the province to experience this. But anyways, there you have it, Savvy Expats. That is a tour of our provincial home in the Philippines. If you want to see more videos like this, let's get this video to 500 likes and subscribe to stay updated on upcoming videos. And so thank you for watching, Savvy Expats, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.